Yo, 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 yo. What up, everybody? Burner Girl, Gun Guy, Biggs, Ghost Dog. What's up, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? Hope y'all staying warm like I'm trying to do. Hope everybody prepared. What up, Targets? STD, what up? What up? What up, Jason? Big Easy. I wasn't planning on going live tonight, but as the old folks would say, my spirit is perturbed, it's disturbed. What up, Thomas? What up, Jeffrey? What's going on? Yeah, it started, Ghost Dog. Started a little while ago. Yeah, it started a little while ago. Hey, Shanna, what's going on? Yeah, hope everybody's hunkered down, or whatever. Hope things aren't as bad as they say. Hope everybody's prepared, got stuff together. I know I've been getting prepared and extra prepared, making sure everything was buttoned up. So we should be good. We're not gonna get a lot of ice, but we're supposed to get some snow, so we should be snowed in according to what they said. So we should be good though. We got everything together. Hopefully the power won't go out. If the power goes out, we can handle that too. But hopefully it won't. When the power goes out for me, that means the heat and stuff goes out too. But that's when you got to break out the portable stuff and everybody get together in one room and stay warm. Put on some extra clothes, some blankets and stuff. We'll be good. Yeah, Jeffrey, that's the plan, man. I hope everybody is. I know some places the infrastructure isn't suited to take this. We could take it a little bit better here because of where we are, but some places in the south, it's gonna be it's not good. It's not gonna be good. So I said, hopefully they're wrong. Just placed the order for the OSIC green dot. Wanted the XR about money for. Oh, I get that. Get that, gun guy. Oh, I know that, Jason. I know that, Marie. I ain't worried about that. I know that. Yep. Yeah, OSAT should be fine. It should be fine. Yep, should be fine. They make a good product. Supposed to get the worst of it tonight. So far just a few inches of snow. Okay. Freezing rain coming though. That's the thing that I'm mostly concerned about for everybody. It's that rain, it's that freezing rain, that ice, man. Knocking out all your power and everything. That's dangerous. I mean, we've had here, like if the winds got too high, we had some issues with the power going out, but that's branches breaking and knocking stuff out, stuff like that. Oh yeah, STD. That's right, man. Have all that stuff ready. What up, Reese? Lawrence, what's going on? Good to see y'all out here tonight. Yeah, like I said, I wasn't planning on going live, but stuff going on. Has me troubled. I didn't like what I saw today. I had to buy a generator instead of a new gun. That's right. That's right. That's what we're concerned about too. Plus, we pretty rural out here. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. They were one of the guys that I follow was saying like they're in Virginia. He was like they're talking about getting with the ice that they get if the power goes out, it might be out for like a week. So because they're in like pretty much like a rural, it seems like they're in a rural type spot from the way he was talking. He wouldn't say exactly where he was, but from the way he was talking, that's what it seems like. Smash that like button, y'all. I don't know how many people gonna come through. Let's have a discussion. Cause I've been watching stuff pretty much all day, just sort of watching things, cussing that stuff. I felt perturbed. So I mean, let's see. We got bad ice everywhere here. Oh wow. I see, gun guy. I see what you did, bro. Yeah, man. But I've been watching that, and condolences to that man's family who they murdered today in Minneapolis. I think his name was Alex Preddy. What's up, Mr. Bullshitter? He was, first of all, he was at the time when they murdered him, he was doing something that I think is honorable, and he was practicing his First Amendment right and his Second Amendment right all at the same time. And they killed him because he was practicing his Second Amendment right. That's why I wanted to come and say something about it. Because anybody who watched the tapes, you can see they murdered that guy. First of all, when they shot him, the one ICE agent had already took his gun off of him. And I looked at the gun that he had, and when I saw the gun that he had, I was like, he wasn't. For me, looking at that, I don't think he might not have just been a regular gun person, because we're not regular gun people around here, and I know a lot of y'all are not regular gun people. He had some sort of P320, looked like, with a magwell on it, and it had some white grips on it. Had a Sig Romeo optic on it, which I know is expensive. Had a threaded barrel. So it leads me to believe he was carrying that. He probably shoots that suppressor sometimes. He probably got some suppressors at the house, some other stuff. So, when I looked at him, I saw us. I saw it could be any one of us. I'm a man who carries a gun every single freaking day. All the time. And they killed that man. And then what the administration did, which is what they always do, and this is what they do when they unjustly kill young black men and women, or black people, period. The first thing they do is they start to make them out to be some sort of villain. And that's what they did immediately. Because what they said, Kristi Noem came out and said, what the fake ass, whack ass president said, all of them came out. Stephen Miller, all these calling this guy domestic terrorist and all this. That's bullshit. Anybody that watches that video saw that guy was helping one lady. They pepper sprayed him, and he was trying to shield the other lady from getting pepper sprayed. And then they decided to rush him because you got all these untrained pieces of shit who ain't got no training. They don't even train as much as a regular police officer. They get 42 to 47 days of training, which is ridiculous, out there making all types of life and death decisions, and just took this man's life, snatched it, just like that. The dude was an ICU nurse at the VA. That's what he was. He was an ICU nurse at the VA. And now he's gone for some bullshit because he was practicing his rights, his constitutional rights. What up, Mr. Dixon? And that's why he's not here now. And the funny thing is, I've been watching, because with all this ICE stuff, man, one thing that COVID taught me was that eventually stuff catches up to us. Eventually stuff will come sit right in your living room with you. COVID taught me that. Because when we first heard about it, I was like, oh, this thing happened way on the other side of the world, way over in China. Then next thing you know, I heard, oh, they got cases of this in New York from people flying back and forth and stuff like that. The next thing you know, it was right here. They had, in my area, people were getting diagnosed with this. Then the next thing you know, they were shutting every damn thing down. Schools were shut down. Kids had to, be home, and they were telling everybody to wear masks and all that other stuff. And you got to make sure you wipe off your groceries and all the stuff that was going on. So you'd be naive to think that maybe this can't affect you. Now, I'm not out there protesting and stuff like that, but there may be somebody who's listening that is going to. They say they're trying to start an internal war. You want to know something, Ghost Dog? There's already an internal war, bro. There's a silent civil war going on, and people need to pay attention, because that's what's happening. We got brown shirts. They just call them ICE. And the brown shirts running around asking American citizens for their papers. Fuck out of here. I ain't got to show you shit. If I ain't break the law, I don't got ID. Now, there'll be some states, I guess you may have to, but 9 times out of 10, if I didn't break the law, you don't have the right as law enforcement to ask me for my ID. I'm supposed to be secure in my papers. It's my Fourth Amendment right. What up, Games? What up, Ramsey J? And they swooped down on this man, and they murdered him. And then they tried to make, he had a gun, and he had 2 magazines. So he came here to do domestic terrorism because he showed up there because he wanted to wreak havoc and he wanted to massacre law enforcement. That's bullshit. And that's the narrative that they're putting out there. Now I'm waiting to see because I done seen some people who are in this community that we in the 2A community. Oh, let me see. Speaking of COVID, we pulled out of the world. Yeah, I saw that too, man. I saw shit is fucked up. What was I saying? So I'm kind of mad. I mean, the more I think about it, the more how they made him some sort of domestic terrorist because he had a gun and he had some extra magazines. He did what a lot of us would do. The way that a lot of us would carry. You have an extra magazine because just in case. So it made me think about myself. It honestly made me think about y'all because I know we all gun toters. We carry, we 2A people, and I want to see what the 2A community is going to do and what they're going to say. Because what I've learned is there are a lot of people that I've been following for a lot of years that I've been watching before I even got into this. Because this was never a plan for me. I never knew I was going to be on anybody's YouTube, being anybody's sort of influencer type guy, micro or not or whatever. That was nothing that I ever thought I would be doing. But I've watched a lot of these people that I've been watching for a lot of years, and I thought that they had some integrity. I thought that I could, that they had some sort of honor about them. And what I come to find out is that they're a bunch of bootlickers. That's what they are. They're a bunch of bootlickers. Now you get some that are silent and who won't say anything, and they be on some shit too. They won't say something, and if you're just scared and you don't want to say something, I get that. I get it, and you just don't want to talk about it. You're not into politics and all of that. But it's the ones who always got something to say, and they're a bunch of bootlickers. They talk all of this high shit about the Second Amendment and it shall not be infringed, and you can't do this and you shouldn't do that, and they sold with the Constitution, but then when somebody's exercising their constitutional rights in terms of protest, in terms of redressing their government and doing what it is in the Constitution that we're supposed to do, because everybody, according to the First Amendment, is part of the press. You're press. Pick up your camera, you go be part of the free press. Matter of fact, it's the only profession that's enshrined in the Constitution, is being in the press. There's no other that's enshrined in the Constitution. So I want to see what they're going to do and what they're going to say. I want to see. I'm just a small, I'm a small guy in this thing. I'm a big guy, but I'm small in this whole YouTube big creative thing. Hey, Dr. T, but I'm part of the Second Amendment community. I am, and I advocate for Second Amendment. Let's see, where's all the folks? Exactly, Mr. Dixon. I want to see if they're gonna step up and say something. I saw one gentleman that I followed that I was watching, and he put out a video a little bit earlier. It's Valhalla VFT, I believe. I watch him from time to time. I always get the last few letters wrong. He put up a good video about this whole thing, about training and stuff like that. And I mean, because it's these guys that they got out here in the street. These guys are I gotta think that the worst bottom of the barrel people that they got out here doing this. They kidnapping children to get people to come out of houses. They're beating up on women. All types of shit, man. All types of shit. And I want to see who's going to come out and say something. And I know the ones that I'm waiting to see, the ones that I consider to be the prominent ones in the gun community, on the YouTube community, the gun influencers, the gun tubers. I want to see who's going to come out and say something. Like, I know there's some people who are just quiet. They never say anything. But I know there's some, when it fits a certain narrative, they quick to open their mouth and run their mouth and talk shit. Quick to talk about it. And I've learned that those people are bootlickers. That's what they are. They are a bunch of fucking bootlickers. They took all of this Second Amendment. I'm not Ramsey. They took all of this Second Amendment bullshit about, shall not be in friends and all that stuff. And then when it comes to other stuff, you don't say anything. That man was murdered today. And he was murdered by law enforcement. He was murdered. I watched him. The same way I watched that law enforcement murder George Floyd, I watched them shoot that man to death today for no fucking reason. And that bothers me. I'm tired of seeing that. It bothered me. I don't care if he was black, white, brown, polka dots. I don't give a shit. It don't matter. He was a guy who carries a gun probably every day, just like I do. And now he's gone because he carried that gun. That's why they killed him. That's the scenario. That's what they're gonna say. He was carrying the gun, so they felt threatened. When they shot him and they killed him after they took the gun away from him. Thank you, brother. What up, Tick Wayne? After they took his gun away from him, they shot him and killed him. If you watch the video, you see the guy got on like a gray sweater or some kind of shirt or something. He grabs the gun, takes it off of him. And because I know guns, and the one that they showed in that car seat, that gun that he pulled off of him that he ran away with, the one that he had in his hand, that's the same gun that they showed. Because you could tell by the profile, especially because of the optic. It's a fat optic, enclosed Romeo optic. I forget which one it is, but you could tell. So they shot and killed the man after they already had the gun off of him. Now they're gonna come up with some other bullshit. For sure, they're gonna come up with some other bullshit. I want to get my thoughts together before I say anything. Now, my thoughts are together, Ghost Dog. I've been pondering this and looking at this, man. And this is dangerous to us. Yep, Proud Boys, KKK. Yeah, that's what the guys got these guys out here. And games, I'm not talking. I ain't talking about shit. I watched what happened. Thank you, appreciate you, Mr. Dixon. Thank you. I watched what happened, and I'm not talking about nothing. I watched them murder that guy from two different angles. I saw what happened. When I saw they took his gun and shot him after they took his gun, and he wasn't reaching for his gun. He had like 6, 7 guys on him, and he was bent over trying to protect himself. He wasn't trying to reach for his pistol. And I watched the guy take his pistol, walked up right behind him. If he had his hands on it, he sure got easy. He walked up behind him and pulled it out of his holster and walked off with it. And they heard them shooting him and probably was thinking, what the fuck did they do? I got his gun in my hand. I watched it happen. They're already saying it was to know if he had. That's bullshit. That's what they always said. There's no way to know if he had any more weapons. That's bullshit. You got 6, 7 dudes on him. Everybody armed. Everybody got tasers, all the type of shit. And you mean to tell me y'all ain't got enough training to subdue this guy who you got bent over on the ground, on his hands and knees, bent over? You can see how in the position that he's in. That's bullshit. It's the second time I watched somebody get murdered under law enforcement circumstances. The first was George Floyd when I watched him choke that man's life out of him, and they've shot that guy today. Yeah, he did. He ducked behind the car, Mr. Dixon. FBI need to stay at home and stay out of this protest because immigration does not benefit your community. Let me tell you something, old school. A lot of this shit is racial, but you want to know something? I don't have that sentiment no more. I don't have that. We just need to stay home. We just need to not be. This is a fucking attack by people who don't give a shit about us for sure, because we black people, but they don't give a fuck about a certain white people either. The guy that murdered today was white. See, what's happening is white people are getting a taste of the shit that black people have had to deal with for 160 years. Since the end of Civil War, whatever, how many years it is. And it wasn't illegal. It was legal. Yeah, these cats are only getting 47. Yeah. So, and I'm gonna say, and this is to all the white brothers and sisters who watch and who, you know, this is what's happening to y'all now is what's been happening to us as black folks in this country for centuries, more than a century. That's what's happening. And now you got people walking around. See, the one thing that your white skin does protect you from is somebody asking you for your ID and shit. But then you do have some allies out there, some people who going to ride with us, who going to be out there recording because they just good human beings and they just, listen, you can't be doing this type of shit for all the type of reasons. That gives you a little bit of protection. But as you saw today, it didn't protect that dude out there. It didn't protect Mr. Peretti, however you pronounce his name. They murdered him. Says I have a son there as an IC. Oh, really, Mr. Dixon? I mean, hey, man. I hope he ain't out there doing no bullshit. I mean, because you get caught up in the group thing. That's right, tyrant government. See, what's happening now is what the Second Amendment is for. See, the enemy is not at the gate anymore. The fox is in the hen house. The enemy is inside the gate. Matter of fact, the enemy is fucking hired by the people who's supposed to run and own the gate. That's what's happening. And that's what's going on now. So I would say this to you. Anybody who is legal enough to own a firearm, a long gun, whatever your states are, whatever state that you're in, and if you're legal and you can, if you go out to protest, you shouldn't go out with any less than 50 people, and all of y'all should be armed to the fucking teeth. All of you. Because that's what the Second Amendment was put in place for. It was put in place for if there is a tyrannical government that tries to oppress the people. So I can go get a bunch of people together. We can get armed the fuck up and be like, no, you can't do us like this. That's what the Second Amendment is for. And we live in those times. Something that I never thought I would see. We got tyrants and fascism. So I'm telling you, the fox is in the hen house, man. And it's either you're gonna let the fox eat up all the hens, or you're gonna shoot the motherfucker. Now, nobody wants violence. Nobody wants that. And you don't want to be violent. But you want to know something? There is a time and a place for everything under the heavens, even violence. And if you see injustice somewhere, you can just stand back and watch it and just let it do whatever. Or you can be like, nah, fuck that. I'm not gonna let injustice just rule the day and do whatever. That's what I'm saying. I don't lick nobody's boots. Fuck all that. If something's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. But we supposed to be the community who rock with the amendment that's supposed to protect all of this shit. That's who we supposed to be. And if you don't even got enough courage to open up your mouth and say anything about it, if you're one of those people who always have something to say about these type of things, and you're not gonna say nothing about it, then fuck you too. You complicit. We the ones with all of the fucking guns. We the ones. And I know that there are people out there, ex-military, all type who took a sword off to the Constitution, who really believe that shit. That they're mad about shit that's going on now. But I'm gonna say this again. If you choose to go out and protest, make sure you go out with 50 of your people, and all of y'all need to have long guns and be suited up and armed to the teeth. Go learn how to use your shit. Go find somebody. There's somebody to train you and teach you how to use your stuff. Because we in those times now. People love this because we have it so cushy here in the States. And when I'm not talking about everybody, because everybody doesn't have it cushy, but because things are relatively a certain kind of way, you know, as black people, we catch shit all the time. It's just because we black people here, and that's just how it is. That's what I'm saying. Now, you white folks, you seeing what the fuck is going on. We've been telling y'all for a long time about this bullshit, and you ain't believe us because it wasn't knocking on your door. But now it's knocking on your door. And they're whooping your ass. And they in your community shooting tear gas and shit. And this ain't got nothing to do with being left and right or Democrat or Republican. They fucking with America. The ideal of what it's supposed to be. And if you call yourself some sort of patriot or something like that, and you call yourself a patriot, it should concern you. And like I said, if you're going to be out there protesting, don't just be going out there. Show your force. Dude went out there because he wasn't going out there to have any trouble. He went out there to record and make some noise and protest and do his constitutional right, exercise his constitutional rights. Now I say, if you want to do that, show it with your camera and your AR and your AK and your shotty or whatever it is, and show up with, like I said, 50 people, 20 at the least. Show up armed. Let them, even if you don't plan on shooting nothing. And most of us who are gun owners, we don't plan on shooting anything or anybody. But we are in different times now. This is a different time. Things have shifted. And we have someone who wants to be a king, who wants to be a dictator, and he has his own army. They're trying to fund ICE and give ICE more money than a lot of small militaries across this planet. And they want to give them all this stuff. So that's what the Jews said in the 40s. That's right. That's right. And if anybody out there that's watching, because I watch a lot of different things, and some of the Jewish folks who I watch, and they seem to be okay with the bullshit, it seems. Your white skin is only going to protect you to a certain point, because they don't look at you as one of them. You're not. They think that you are the controller of black people. Those are tropes that have been going on forever. And they don't view you as one of them. They'll use you as a useful idiot so you can go talk shit all over the place. And then when it comes time, they'll subjugate your ass too. I mean, it just sort of is what it is. Here's what's probably going to be an unpopular thought process on what's going on. Go ahead, Games. Say what you got to say, bro. So, because if this was just all about immigration and we trying to get,
If somebody's here illegally and they breaking the law and they doing some shit they're not supposed to, I mean, what happens to you happens to you. It's no different than if I go rob the Speedway tomorrow and then they catch me and I go to jail. I broke the law. It is what it is. But that's not what they're doing. They're fucking with people who ain't doing nothing to nobody. And they're messing with American citizens. They pulled over this one brother. He was barking them down like, fuck you, I've been shot before. Ain't no big deal. You don't scare me. Your guns don't scare me. Pulled over the other brother who was in the car. Was like, look, man, I ain't got no accent or nothing. I'm from here. You're just jumping out, stopping people because you think you can. These are people with brown skin. They stopping police officers there because they black folks or look some sort of ethnic or whatever. Police officers. Americans. And demanding papers from me. Fuck you. I ain't got to give you nothing. Yo, what up, Norwood? We all just pawns, yeah? And you want to know something, Biggs? That's cool. But you know, a pawn, a pawn can end up being something else, bro. What did this start over? Fraud and government funding. Electric games, this started because in Minneapolis, because this white boy went and did some bullshit and told a bunch of lies and put this report out. And if anybody did any research on this, the ringleader behind the whole Somali shit was a white chick. Go look it up. It was this white bitch. She was one of the ringleaders behind it. And this all of a sudden turns into the Somalians. That was bullshit. They used that to go in there because that's a blue state. They got a blue governor. And that's what this is all about. This is about the Reds against the Blues. And we got a motherfucker who wants to be the king. He called himself, going to impose himself on people. Go look it up. It was a white bitch who did that Somali shit. Politicians there supporting the protest and creating this atmosphere. Why? To use the public to hide behind the change it. Man, and I don't believe that bullshit either. Yeah, she is in jail. She needs to be in jail. But they blaming the Somali community when the fucking ringleader was this white bitch. They're doing the same shit that they always do. All of the robbing and killing and stealing and raping and the worst fucking stuff that's done on the planet has been done by them. Now, if you take offense to that, take offense to it. I didn't come from your lineage. I didn't create it. It was your forefathers that did that bullshit. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it just to make you feel better. Like, we can't talk about slavery and shit like that and all that because they're going to be feeling, they feel bad or they're snowflakes and fuck out of here with that. Your people did some bullshit to mine. I'm going to talk about it till I fucking get tired. I'll never hear nobody telling the Jews not to talk. And the Jews ain't going to never let you forget. They be like, fuck that. We never letting you forget about the Holocaust. And they shouldn't. Because they got done dirty. They should. She sold them all on their skin. Yeah, well, I mean, that's whatever. So I'm like, I'm not trying to hear nothing about the politics. This, to me, whatever they were doing as politicians there in Minnesota, those people there voted them in. And those people out in the streets, like, yo, what are y'all doing here? The fuck are y'all doing? So that's what I don't want to hit right. This is about the American people. We run this shit. And there's more of us. And that's why I say the Second Amendment needs to be practiced the way it's supposed to be. If you go on a protest, show the fuck up with 50 of your homies and all of y'all need to be armed to the motherfucking teeth, ready to do whatever. And don't bring no motherfucker who's scared. Only bring the motherfuckers that's about it. That's going to be there and do what they're going to do. That's what you need to do. And I don't think the politicians are throwing the public into anything. Because the public can just sit inside and stay in the house. But people are outraged because how dare you come into my community where I am and try to do this type of shit. There is such a thing as community. There's such a thing as community. Yeah, they never do old school. They don't talk about that shit. They don't talk about how when we showed up certain places as black men, they were happy to see us. And how a lot of black people never left Europe because they're like, man, they treat me right over here. I ain't going back over there to the States. From expats. They don't talk about that. But we in a situation. I mean, for real. We are in a situation. Let me see all messages. And I know stuff that's going on right now is because those major financial crimes in Minnesota are worth giving up your civil rights. Thank you, Ramsey J. No, that's just money. You can always make money. You can always find a way to make money. If you're a hustler, you can make money. But they don't care about these people's lives, man. I had a certain stance about this whole thing, and I had to sit back and I had to rethink this stuff, this immigration stuff. I had to rethink it really. I had to think about it. And I can't say that I'm about to put a constitution here, even though the constitution's got some bullshit in it too, but still, it's the best thing that we got here. It's the best document we got. So, see, on a good note, I got my new suppressor. That's good, bro. I'm glad you got your suppressor. Whatever money they did or didn't take was a drop in this tape. Exactly, Ramsey J. So we're in this situation now, and we're sort of in what I like to call a 9/11 situation. Being a New Yorker and being in New York at the time when all that happened, when they crashed into the Trade Center, that was the first time I ever saw my city really like sort of galvanize and come together. It's the first time I can remember in my lifetime sort of seeing the country sort of come together, because some outside force attacked us and we're like, yeah, okay, we can fuck with each other and we can talk shit to each other, but you can't come over here and do shit to us. Now that led to some other shit, weapons of mass destruction, put us in some wars and shit we shouldn't have been into. But that's some shit that a lot of it is beyond our control. But this is a time where we need to be coming together. And I'm not no kumbaya or whatever, shit like that. But sometimes you gotta get the fox out the hen house, then y'all can fight. Then y'all can decide who actually gets the chickens. There's shit going on right now that I didn't think I would see. Like I said, this is the second time that I saw a man get murdered on camera like that. In this sort of situation and circumstance. I've seen other young brothers get murdered, condolences to their families and over some bullshit. This is a different type of thing that's going on right now. The climate in the country is different. When you move around outside, things are different. People are more emboldened than they ever were before because you got all of this stupid white supremacist shit going on. And I'm going to always talk about that because I can't look at anything else because I'm a black man in America. I'm not a victim of anything. I never looked at myself as a victim, but I know that there's bullshit going on. I don't believe in that they took the victim into bullshit. Because I talk about the way that you did some bullshit to me, you fucked me over, don't mean you just a victim. Fuck out of here. I'm gonna remind you the bullshit that you did. And I'm gonna remind you too because it helps me to remember. So that I know how I need to treat your ass. And how I don't need to be trusting you all the fucking time. It's not my fault that you come from a lineage of evil. It's not my fault. And if you down for me and you know that shit that those folk did was wrong, you shouldn't get mad at me for talking about it and saying some shit about it. You should be like, all right, he got the right to be mad. He got to be upset. He got the right to be upset. He got the right to be like, fuck them. And here's the thing, even with that, I don't just be like, fuck everybody just because. I give you a fair shot up front. And if you turn out to be an asshole, then I'm like, fuck you. That's different, but that's how everybody should be. But we need to all look at this and analyze this. And I'm going back to the Second Amendment people. I want to see what they're going to say. Like I say, right now, I've only seen one video so far. Gentleman came out, Valhalla came out, he talked about it. And it was from a training perspective and from what he watched. And they're going to try to say some bullshit. Self-defense. There wasn't no fucking self-defense. They murdered that man. Because after he was shot the first time, I think they shot him like 10 or 12 times. After he was shot the first time, he didn't have no weapons. The guy wasn't moving. They kept pumping bullets into the man. They just kept shooting him. And that's some bullshit. He should be here today. He shouldn't be dead because he was out filming these bullshit motherfuckers and because he was trying to help a lady and protect another lady from getting pepper sprayed while they were pepper spraying him. He shouldn't be dead today. He was a dude who looks like he became a nurse and got his license in 2021. And he was an ICU nurse at the VA hospital. No criminal record. All he had was some parking tickets. Had his concealed carry license. He could carry a gun legally in the state of Minnesota. And they're trying to use that against him. But that's the reason why they killed him. When at first they didn't know he had a gun. The only reason they probably knew he had a pistol is either he said something when they were getting at him, or either when they were tussling with him, they saw he had a pistol on him. Because he never brandished his gun or anything. That's what they're going to try to say. And then that's how they came out. He was branded. He came there because he had a pistol on and he went to the protest. He came there because he wanted to cause mass casualties and all. Doing the same shit that they do to the young brothers and sisters when they kill them unjustly, turn them into a villain. That's the playbook. That's what they do. That's why when I see that shit, I'm like, yo, white folks, you may not agree when we were telling you that's what they do, but that's what they do. I don't care what a motherfucker was doing before. When you roll up on him on that scene, if he wasn't doing anything, you just murdered him for nothing. There's nothing you can tell me about his past. He deserved to get killed on it. He wasn't shooting at the police, none of that shit. Anybody. He wasn't shooting at the cops. He wasn't doing all of that. And I doubt he was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get out of this. All of these police officers standing around, all armed. Everybody got plate carriers on and all that type of shit. And my 9mm gonna get through them vests. Fuck out of here. He wasn't thinking that. They murdered the man. They murdered the man because they're untrained and they're a bunch of untrained, uncivilized mutts. That's why they murdered him. Because they got an administration that's allowing them to do it. And us as the American people have to be like, fuck that. That shit that we can't stand for. So I'm saying, if you want to go out there and protest and that's what you're going to do and you're going to be protesting, go with a bunch of people and all y'all need to be armed to the fucking teeth. You make them think twice because nobody wants to be the first one to get shot. Nobody. Unless you're crazy. What up, Dave? Make them understand that if you do some bullshit, it's hell to pay. These are the times that we're living in. And I know people like to talk about this, I heard the guy say earlier about Gandhi, if you hit everybody, punch everybody in the eye, some shit, you leave everybody, eye for an eye, leaves everybody blind. Fuck out of here with that. If a motherfucker is actively trying to kill you, you ain't supposed to just let him do it. Or just turn the other cheek. Or somebody punch you in the face, it's just okay. Fuck all that. I ain't Jesus. You punch me in my face, I'm gonna fuck you up. And that's how it's supposed to be. That's what just let nobody just come and do whatever they're gonna do to you. People get scared when you start talking about violence. Violence is a part of the world. Bloodshed is a part of the world. For any of you people out there that call yourselves Christians, the reason why you have salvation is because blood was shed in order for you to have it, if you believe that. Think about that. Your eternal salvation involved bloodshed. Jesus told his mans to go sell a cloak and go get some swords. And then when he got his 2 swords, you're like, all right, good. Now we good. We straight. Now we can roll out. Serious times we living in, man. I never thought I'd see no stupid shit like this. In the state of Maryland, it's illegal for us to be within 1,000 feet of any and all protests. It sucks. Okay, Jesus, that's against the, you can't do that. That's against the law, man. Florida just passed a law where you got to be 25 feet away. I saw that. One of the guys that I follow on YouTube, he was down there. He's a First Amendment auditor, and he was down there, and he didn't know that, and they told him that, and now he knows that you got to stay 25 feet away. That's cool. But if you somewhere and you're going to be protesting, and it's lawful for you to do that, don't just be showing up with no means to really protect and defend what it is that you're trying to do. You got these guys running around here just shooting pepper balls and pepper spraying people with, just for the hell of it because they think they can, because they just can get away with it. And these are people who are protesting peacefully. Because I'm yelling at you in your face and telling you full of shit and you need to get the fuck out of here, you need to go home, and I ain't never put my hands on you or nothing, you too thin-skinned to take that, so you're going to pepper spray me and send me on the way because you think you can. That means you're a pussy. Straight up. Because you can't hear what it is that I'm saying to you because you feel so offended. Don't do stupid shit. And then I won't call you out on stupid shit. And then they'll say, oh, you advocating violence against law. No, I'm not. This is my belief. Whether you're law enforcement or anything else. If you got a gun and you got a badge or whatever it is that you do, once you step outside of the law, because you're law enforcement, the law is there before you get there. You're there to enforce it. Once you step outside of that law, you're fair game. You fair fucking game. Because you're not there enforcing the law anymore. You're being a lawbreaker. You're not doing what's legal and lawful. And if you're doing some bullshit that's illegal and that's unlawful, and you're doing some shit to me and you're going to hurt me, I'm going to fucking try to hurt you. It ain't a goddamn thing wrong with that. People think you're crazy because you feel like, well, no. But you go somewhere and you swear an oath to the Constitution, and then you step outside that thing and you're not honoring it and you acting just like a criminal, it's fair game whatever happens to you, man. It's fair game. The law don't show up when you get there. The law is already there. You a fucking law enforcement. And when you got a rogue person who's law enforcement, who don't really care nothing about the law, these guys are violating all types of rights, Fourth Amendment rights, search and see, all that shit. Going up in people's houses and they ain't got no warrant because they got some bullshit that they're using that they think they can go in there. Yo, if you're somebody at your house and you think some shit is going on and you legal to have a firearm and motherfuckers decide they want to just be trying to come up in your shit, you might have to make a decision. The only way that they're going to know that your blood is valuable is if you make them understand that your blood is valuable. I'm talking about for every American. Because I don't want to see nobody die. I don't want to see nobody lose their life. But the only way these motherfuckers are going to understand is if you let them know, hey, if you come through here, you might get me, but a bunch of y'all ain't leaving. Now, it sounds brutal. It sounds rough. It's a lot behind that, but it is what it is. When you got a motherfucker that's willing to kill you for nothing just because, you can't just let them kill you. I mean, you can if you want to, but you better get the drop on me, because if I get the opportunity, I'm not going to just let you kill me. You're going to know my life meant something. Even if you get me, somebody's going with me. One of you is going with me. And if we are in a tyrannical, fascist regime right now, and that's what's going on, then us as Americans, our God-given right and our constitutional right is to not let anybody just run over us and do whatever the fuck they want to do. Our country is in crisis. The same way we got this big ass snowstorm going on. I don't take any of this stuff as coincidence. When all this stuff happens, the man gets killed. We got one of the biggest storms they say ever that's coming through. There's some shit. So if you're going to be out in situations like that, get you a drone as well. It's also another good one, old school. Make sure you're out there protecting yourself. If it's legal where you are in your state, do everything that you can to give yourself the upper hand and be legal. Because a lot of these cats is pussies. They roll up on you because they got a gun and they got a bunch of people with them and they got gun muscles. And they got muscles because they got people around them. Show up with 50 of your people and all your arms to the teeth. The motherfuckers change. I don't know if you remember a cat. This thing happened in Vegas. A cat by the name of Cliven Bundy. Cliven Bundy was a racist motherfucker. But what happened at Cliven Bundy's ranch, to me, was a perfect example of what the Constitution, the Second Amendment, is for. So the guy was grazing his cattle on land that's owned by the government. But they never came and did nothing on that land or anything or nothing like that. So he was just out there feeding his cattle. They told him he couldn't do it anymore, but he kept doing it. So they called themselves going to come and raid his compound. And what they was going to do. But you know what happened? The 2A boys, actually the 3% boys went around the country, got together, and they went out there. And they was armed to the teeth. They had snipers up on the bridges, everything. They were out there like, yeah, all right, we about to get it in. Because what you doing to Brother Bundy is some bullshit and it's tyrannical. And this is what our Second Amendment right is for. And they sent them motherfucking cops home. All of them that was out there. ATL, or whatever, all the fucking marshal, they sent them home. Because you want to know why? Nobody wants to be the first one to get shot. And they left. For me, that was a perfect example of what the Second Amendment is about. No matter how much I didn't agree with that Bundy guy or whatever, no matter how much I didn't agree with him, yo, what up, man? What's going on, Reek? What he was doing, why bother him? Why you bothering him over that? Because he out there making a living and his cattle was grazing some shit that you was going to just let grow over and nobody was doing nothing to. Just because you want to have some bullshit going on. That's right. Sent the government packing. you got to be willing. If you're going to be out there protesting, these are different times. You got a group of people who are willing to kill you, and they're proving that they are. They're willing to kill you over some bullshit. Even if you're an American citizen, they're willing to fucking kill you for no reason. When this is supposed to be about immigration. Fuck that. This is about control. This is about subjugation. This is about one pussy-ass motherfucker who wouldn't even serve his country, who wants to be some sort of king or dictator because he envies these other guys who do this stuff across the world. That's what this is about. And you got these bootlicking ass people who are going to follow him. See, right now, the revolution is being televised. That's what's going on. And if you're going to be out there in the middle of the revolution, you better show up with the tools that are necessary in order to be effective in the revolution. Because a lot of times you ain't never got to fire a shot. Because like I said, nobody wants to be the first one to get shot. But you better keep in your mind, if you do show up, there's a possibility that you may have to pull that thing. And you may have to send some rounds, you might have to get on the 2-way range. You understand what I'm saying? If that's what you choose to do. If that's what you choose to do, go somewhere, get some training, go learn from somebody. There's some ex-military guys out there who are real patriots, who really believe in their oath to the Constitution, who train you up so you know what the fuck you're doing. Speaking from a military perspective, most people in this space are focused on self-protection in their home or one-on-one situation in the streets. Most people can't do it. It's the 1% who can. I get you. I get you, gun guy. And it's the truth. And I agree with that. But if you're going to be one of them people that's going to be out there in the streets because of what it is that they're trying to do to you, if it is legal and lawful in the state that you're in, and they come in there to do that shit, and you don't agree with what's going on, then you need to be able to effectively handle that situation. This pending snowstorm is manufactured just like the pandemic. It's all about control. We're going to see, Dr. T, because if we don't get nothing, we'll be like, oh, all this was for nothing? Yep. Hold on a second. I got to check something. Smelling something. Hope somebody down there burning up nothing. Maybe making some pizza or something. Just want to make sure. I'll be up here, shit burning. I got to get the hell up out of here. But what has to happen is, man, people have to, you have to stand up. We're in that situation. Okay, pizza oven. And that just seems to be the time that we're in. And there's still more of us than there are of them. And even when I look at our military, shout out to Gun Guy, because he's one of our active military guys. I don't think that those guys are just going to decide, oh, we just going to side with whatever the government is doing because they tell us they give them some illegal orders. I don't think they're going to just do it. I think some of them will, but I don't think it'll be the majority that'll we just going to jump out and do it. I don't think so. I like to believe that. But yeah, we in a sticky sort of situation. And even though it's miles and miles and miles away from me, ICE was here the other day. I have a good friend that I've known now that I've met to my wife, who she has a catering business. And right across the street from where she was, ICE was over there harassing the Mexican folks over there that do the barbecue across the way in the church parking lot. Over there harassing them. And I think they came and took them away. They wasn't being criminal out there. They just out there selling some good ass barbecue. That's why I said I learned a lesson, man. Stuff can end up on your doorstep and you're not even looking for it. And it can just be right in your lap, man. What up, Philly Slow? I just happen to live in Trump country. I just happen to live and be surrounded by mostly white faces. That's where I am. And they still got the complexion for the protection. It don't mean nothing can happen to you. You see what happened to the brother this afternoon. What up, Nikolai? But yeah, it's stuff for us to think about. And I'm waiting to see. Is there certain people I'm waiting to see what they gotta say? I'm waiting to see if they're licking boots. I want to see. I want to see folk come out and say something. I want to see what Mr. Guns and Gear has to say. I want to hear what who else? Guns and Gadgets. I want to hear what he has to say because he's always talking about the Second Amendment. I want to hear what Cole Young has to say. I want these people to come. I want to see what they have to say. These bigger voices. Hickok, I never hear him talk about anything political, but I want to hear from these people. These people who, when I came into this industry, these are the big people in this industry. I want to hear what these people have to say. I want to hear them condemn this bullshit. Because unless for some reason you got in your head and what I'm seeing is just totally wrong, I watched a man who was practicing his constitutional right, his God-given right to protection, get murdered because he had that gun on him. And that's the excuse that they give him. He had a gun, so he came there to commit mass murder on the law enforcement. That's bullshit. Right, geez, another one. Well, he retired. But I don't remember. I didn't follow him too much, but I never really is Grant Thumb? No. I'm thinking about the other guy. I mean, call out whatever name you want. He was legally armed, man. Legally armed America. There you go. The who was it? Armed Scholar. All these cats. I want to see y'all come out and say something about this. And don't be no bull looking ass motherfucker. If they wrong, they wrong. Just because they law enforcement, you can't say that. Fuck that. Anybody can be wrong. They murdered that man today. And that's bullshit. Because it could be any one of us that they did that to. Because he was out there protesting, practicing his constitutional right, out there filming law enforcement. Ain't no law in Minnesota that says you can't film law enforcement. Most places, they allow you to film law enforcement. It's about accountability. And he was out there trying to stop them from pushing ladies to the ground and pepper spraying them and all type of shit. You out there fucking plate carriers on. You got tasers, guns, all type of shit. 5, 6 of y'all. And you out there pushing ladies to the ground and all type of shit. Citizens, American citizens, you out there doing bullshit because they talking to you too rough. Because you too much of a pussy and your skin is too thin to be able to hear what it is that they have to say to you. So you're going to pepper spray them and push them to the ground and all type of shit. That's because you're a pussy. You're a bitch ass. You're a bitch ass with a gun. And that's what makes you tough, because you got a gun and a taser and you got on a vest. Fuck you. You took that man's life for nothing. That's right. Got masks on, don't want an ID. None of the shit that you should be doing. And if motherfuckers ain't got nothing to say about that, if your platform is bigger than mine and you ain't got nothing to say about it, man, listen. Especially the ones who always got some shit to say. Who always got some sideways shit to say. Always. And I watched them closely. They were talking all type of coded shit. If you're about the fucking Constitution, be about the motherfucking Constitution. What up, Chris? And if you're too scared, get a fucking dog and stop making videos, motherfucker. I'll say it to you. If I was in your face, I say it to your face. And one day I probably will come across you. I'll be somewhere and your ass will be there. And if you got something to say to me, I'm right here. Say what you got to say. I'm a man. My heart don't pump no fucking Kool-Aid. That's old school. Because, man, this shit is fucked up, man. And we in the community that's supposed to be the ones that be like, no, you can't do that. But yeah, I saw that, MGJ. I saw that. It's got some sort of document that they're trying to say basically gives them the right to do whatever. It's not a judicial warrant. It's some bullshit that they're trying to use. But you're gonna go knock on the wrong door. You're gonna have a bullshit warrant. You're gonna try to come in there and you're gonna get yourself killed. You're going to get yourself taken out of here, taken off the board because you're doing dumb shit, because you think you can. If you're gonna go after criminals and people who do bad shit and all that, go get them. I'm with you 100%. Go get the folks who doing the bullshit. If somebody was doing bullshit to me, if I couldn't handle it and stop it, I would want you to come take care of it because that's what you're supposed to do. But stop fucking with people who ain't got nothing to do with this shit. This is all about somebody deciding that they want to subjugate people. I can be affected by it. My wife can, my son can, my family members can, because we black. Because this shit is happening to brown-hued folk. They doing this to folk that look like myself and look darker. Ain't gotta have no accent. Fucking with people, doing all types of shit. Even in DC, fucking with the brothers and sisters there doing this shit. Because there's more behind it. Because people say, oh, this whole thing is racial. This is all about creating a white ethno state that's a Christian patriarchy-centered thing where they want to subjugate everybody, including their white women, where the white man is the one who's on top of everything. That's why they want to erase all the history and pull stuff down and all type of stuff. You can't tell me that it's not racist, because if it wasn't racist, they wouldn't be trying to do all that shit. You want to erase all the contributions from folk who ain't white. That's what it is. That's why Donald Trump is so fucking mad that he can't get a Nobel Peace Prize, because they gave one to Barack Obama. And I guarantee you, in his mind, he's thinking they gave that nigga a Peace Prize and won't give me one? So I keep talking that bullshit about I stopped 8 wars. Like, you ain't do shit. You're a fucking coward who, when the time came and the call was put out there, your ass wouldn't even go fucking serve your country. Wouldn't even go somewhere and go down range. You're full of shit. Fuck out of here. I'm done with Daniel Defense and Nighthawk Customs. They both having tributes to that dumbass cadavers. Yeah, man, and fuck that bullshit, yo. Don't give them money. Don't give them money. I'm not celebrating shit they got to do with Charlie Kirk. That motherfucker said that black people were inferior, that we're stupid. Every job that we get was because of some DEI hire. We're not qualified for nothing. He talked bad about some of the smartest women on the planet, no matter how much degrees and shit that they got. He didn't want to get on planes with black pilots, all of that. He was a fucking racist. I don't care if right behind it he said, oh, I love Jesus. That don't mean shit. All these motherfuckers running around here talking about we Christians, and ain't none of them Christ-like. None of them. None of them have no parts of his character. Fuck all that. And I'm going to call that shit out. I don't give a fuck. And y'all should call that shit out too. Seeing people defending Rittenhouse. That's right. Exactly. That's right, Chris. Obama was the Jerome King. Listen, let me tell you something. Obama was the Jerome King. You want to know what he was too? He was the deporter in chief. Nobody deported more people than Barack Obama. Nobody. But he did it the way that you were supposed to do it. You didn't see people going crazy all over the country and all this bullshit going on like this. See, this ain't about immigration. This is about a show of force. Who's that? Somebody just came. What up, Jimmy? Yeah, this ain't about immigration. This is about a show of force. This is about if they can break the American people. And we need to stand the fuck up and be like, no, you can't. The only way that this shit gets stopped is if we stop it. Because we got a weak ass, quote unquote, who's supposed to be the opposition. Then we got the other guys who running shit, who a bunch of bootlickers, who just all running around playing with Trump's balls, who all of a sudden ain't nobody no man no more. See, this is what the hood looks like. Yeah. Right. These guys running around here who ain't a man no more, who won't stand up to this dude who's a bitch ass in the White House, and they won't stand up to him because they all a bunch of bitch asses too. Screwing their own people in the districts that they come from, all type of stuff. And they won't stand up to this guy. Who's a punk? He's a pussy. That's why he's always going around trying to tell everybody that he's tough. Real tough guys don't go around telling you they're tough all the time. You find out when they whooping your ass. They don't gotta tell you. You find out when they put the paws on you. The Jump Out Boys, New Orleans Police Department. Yo, listen, man. Listen. I grew up in crack era New York, man. We had the Jump Out Boys all over Southeast Queens and Northeast Queens, all over. We had that stuff going on. I grew up in a particular time. I grew up in Stop and Frisk, New York, before they stopped all that shit, before it got more quote unquote progressive. So I know about all that shit. That's what he's doing. He's building his own army of people that are loyal to him. That's why the motherfucker come out and talk about they basically can operate basically in impunity. That they're basically not responsible for anything. I was like, get the hell out of here. They're causing chaotic situations to distract the sheeple from the real things going on, and it's working. I mean, I guess you want to say that, but it's not fooling everybody. See, here's the thing. When you have isolated incidents where people can't see anything and people can't see what's going on, then you could the old playbook works. But see, there's too much social media and too much information floating around now. There's too much of it. So you can't, all that shit don't work no more. When you used to have to you had to travel somewhere and it took you 2 weeks to get there. No. Me and you can talk in real time. In 3 seconds, you know exactly what's going on, where I'm at and what's going on. I can look out my window and say, hey, it's snowing out here. There's this over here. There's that over there. And you know exactly what's going on there. The proliferation of information is a good thing and a bad thing. Power failures, taking out furnace controls, frozen pipes. What up, Vulcan? Water damage will be the expensive part. Yeah, that's true. Rural counties have 14 times more guns per person than urban spots. 75% of homes in the country have multiple firearms. Hey, I believe that, Nikolai. I believe that. But we're at a point now where this is getting to it's racist on the front for sure, but it's haves and have-nots too, because the oligarchs are running the place right now. So if you're white and you ain't got nothing, they don't like you either. All you are is cannon fodder. That's all you are. They don't like you either. They'll use you to kill me and then kill you later, so they ain't got to feed you and give you nothing. Or they may keep you to subjugate you so you can do all the work, and they can just sit up in the big house and they ain't got to do nothing, like they did black folks, all the free labor they got from us. You better wake up. As a black man in America, I know the history of this country. I know the bullshit that they do to my folk and other people who don't look like them. Y'all got to wake the fuck up and see what's happening. They don't care about you, even though they look like you. They don't care about you because you don't have what they have. You're a useful idiot, and they'll use you and tell you that you're better than me and you're better than other people just because your skin is white. And it doesn't make you better. They'll tell you, even though you may be the dumbest, no tooth having, no education, not talking, don't know shit motherfucker, tell you better than this one over here. We got all the education in the world, smart as hell, got a bunch of stuff, but you better than them because your skin is white. See, we back into all this bullshit now. And people don't like to talk about it because we're supposed to be far away from it. We back in the thick of it, man. And the shit is rolling from the head on down. When you places, don't whisper. If you're talking about shit, say what you got to say. Stand on your shit. Because there's a scary motherfucker out there who can be real effective. But because he's by himself, he won't say anything. But if he knows he has somebody else and the righteousness, the same way that hatred and other shit spreads and disease, righteousness can spread too. You get a motherfucker who get built up like, listen, I ain't letting this bullshit happen around here. This ain't gonna happen around me. And that's what has to happen. But sometimes, in order to show a motherfucker some love, you might have to whoop their ass. That's right. Most people don't like the government. It's the truth. Most people don't like the government. They don't want to pay taxes. They don't want you in my bedroom. I don't want you telling me what the fuck they do. They don't want you. They don't want you in their business. Even some law enforcement shit is like that. Because everybody ain't bad. Oh man, Stephen Miller is a devout white supremacist, and he looked like one of them Nazi motherfuckers. And doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. And I guarantee you, he a punk and a clown. And if you ran up on him, he start cowering and he cake up and bitch up. Oh no, please. Yeah, man, we in a bit of a pickle. And because we can play with our guns and eat well and shit may be more expensive, but we still doing good, and in some cases, and we shouldn't just look at that like, oh yeah, everything's just okay. Everything is not okay. Everything hasn't been okay for more than 5 years now. He's a homicidal maniac. Along with law enforcement. Exactly, Jimmy. I agree. And I know they want to do the Insurrection Act and martial law and all this other stuff. I know they're talking about that. But here's the thing. You can't just lay down and just let people kill you. You can't do that. Maybe 3 or 4 decent officers in each precinct, maybe. I mean, I don't know. But I always look at law enforcement. If you're a cop and you know that there's another cop over there that does bullshit and they do the wrong thing, and you don't get at them or stop them from doing it, you're just as bad as he is. You ain't no better. Because if you're really about it, I mean, you're willing to sacrifice yourself for some shit. I'm like, nah, man, you want some wrong shit. This motherfucker can't be here. And I know it's easier said than done because you got to be on the street with these people and all type of stuff. And I understand that. But just because it's a hard thing doesn't mean it's not the right thing. And if you're somebody who got some sort of honor and you live by some sort of code, the hard thing ain't always that hard because it goes against every fiber of your being and who you are and the things that you believe in. And like I said, a lot of this stuff it's easier said than done, but it can be done. And the only way to stop this bullshit that's trying to take over this country, and because some of us may be in places where it seems like it's safe, it's not really safe. You're still behind enemy lines. And this is for my Black folks, Latinos, Asians, white folks who consider themselves allies. You're behind enemy lines, man. The fox is in the hen house. And when the fox gets in the hen house, you don't negotiate with that motherfucker. There's no negotiating with him. All he want to do is eat up all the hens. That's all he want to do. He don't care about nothing else other than eating up the hens. And there's only one way to stop him. Because you ain't going to make him a pet. He got to go. And I say it again, when you start talking and having this type of language, people get squeamish and they want to back off. And they want to back up. But if you have someone who is willing to kill you and your family over money, over power, just because they want to run everything, you can't look at that person like, oh, I can negotiate with them. Or maybe they'll give me something. No. If a motherfucker is trying to kill me and they don't get the drop on me, God damn it, I'm gonna fucking be trying to kill them. And that's the law of nature. You don't just let a motherfucker just do whatever they want to do to you and kill you just cause. You don't do that. Especially when you didn't do nothing and there's no reason for them to. They just want to kill you just for you being who you are, just for you existing. Nah, man. And that's what's happening. They going out there wanting to kill people and hurt people for the hell of it. What up, bro? What up, man? RGG in the building. What's good? And I saw what you said I saw somebody put up a comment about the full investigation. It should be. I'm glad they calling for a full investigation. As well, they should. Because you want to know something? There is Mr. Dixon. They're one of the oldest gun rights advocate associations in the world, let alone in the United States. And the gentleman was killed because he was legally carrying a firearm. And they're Second Amendment rights advocacy group. You damn right there needs to be an investigation. Especially if you saw what I saw. They murdered the man on camera. And probably wasn't too far from where they murdered George Floyd. I don't know how big Minneapolis is, but I was thinking, ain't that, They shot the lady in the car, killed her too. Another white woman killed her. Try to vilify her. Oh, because her wife. It's so important that she was a lesbian. It's to give people who are fucking stupid, who don't think, a reason to say, oh, well, yeah, she was probably some sort of deviant because she was a lesbian, so it was okay to kill her. That's why they do that shit. They do it so they could drop that small seed so a person would be like, well, they might have been on some other type of weird shit, so it was all right to kill them. That's what they do. That's what they do to the young brothers and sisters that they kill out there in the street unjustly. Oh, he did this before. He did that before. Oh, he wasn't doing nothing all these years. He was a hardworking citizen, working his 2 jobs, doing whatever. But when he was in high school, he had a little bit of trouble. So, that's to give them cover. The whole bad seed thing, whatever was in him was still there. And it just came out now. Because he did some bullshit in high school. That's what they do. That's what they do to these people now. You vilify the person. You make them a villain. So that people who are stupid be like, oh, yeah, it was okay to kill them. What up, Javon? She should have complied. Ain't that what that's what they always tell us, should have complied. That's why people go, well, it's a civil war. You want to know something? They're going to do you dirty no matter what. We're already in a light civil war. And the only people that can stop it is the people. We the people. That's right. It should be an investigation, some charges and repercussions. But they don't want to. There's a guy, Roy Cohn. Roy Cohn. That's Donald Trump's mentor. If none of y'all know who he is, I want you to go look him up and look who he is. Trump is the way he is because that's the way that man trained him and taught him. That's why you never admit to anything negative. You always try to play both sides. There's good people on both sides. Even when a motherfucker stone cold wrong, there's good people on both sides. That shit that he learned from Roy Cohn. You'll go look him up and see who that guy is. That's his mentor. That's why I say shit flow from the head down. Yep, he was an ICU nurse. That's right. A federal employee. That's right. Suicide by cop. They're a bunch of dirtbags. That man wasn't trying to kill. He didn't come out there to kill nobody or nothing. He was trying to do something honorable and help out those ladies that they were out there pepper spraying. Bitch ass officers out there pepper spraying them ladies. They all armed to the teeth and shit. You out there being a bitch ass. Because they saying some harsh words to you. Fucking snowflakes. They the biggest snowflakes on the planet, man. Fucking MAGA idiots. The biggest snowflakes ever. That's right, Javon. That's his mentor. You'll go do some research on that guy. On Roy Cohn. If he had a federal government security clearance, if he worked for the Veterans Administration. Look at that. They killed the man. They murdered the man for nothing, yo. For nothing. And everybody should be outraged about it. Especially if you call yourself some sort of Second Amendment advocate. That's the first thing that they tried to do. Say, oh, he had a gun. He had a gun. Then you find out, oh, yeah, he had a gun. He was legally carrying a gun. Like most of us do. Never pulled it. Never showed it to nobody. Never brandished nothing. Never did anything. I guarantee you they didn't find out that he had a gun until they put their hands on him and started wrestling with him. And they saw he had a firearm. Never touched his gun. And they took his life. Just because they wanted to. They're a bunch of untrained mutt savages. That's why. They took his life. Snatched it right out of here like it wasn't nothing. And it wasn't anything to them. They didn't give a fuck. I don't know the man. I never met him. Don't know anything about him. All I know is he was another concealed carry holder who practiced the same thing that I did. And his life meant something. even though I didn't know him. His life meant something. Hopefully, this will be the straw that breaks the camel's back. That's what I hope. Because they're going to try to villainize him, but it'll come out. See, he's a white male, the one that they're trying to protect so much right now, who is practicing his constitutional right, practicing his God-given right, and they snatched his life away for some bullshit. So now they want to try to make him into some sort of villain. It was one of theirs. The same shit like they took the cat that took Charlie Kirk off the board. They wanted it to be somebody that was brown so fucking bad, and when it wasn't, they were so upset. There was one of their own that took him out, which was probably them. They probably took him out anyway, but that's another story. They were so mad about that shit. Sooner or later, Trump and his gang will try to ban us from... Oh, yeah. Mr. Dixon, you know that. He's a white male, so they're going to say he was gay. Yeah, you know it, Chris. They got to put some sort of dirt on him. But everything is coming out like, yo, he was just a regular dude. And 9 times out of 10, he probably had some nice collection at the house. Just based on what he was carrying. It wasn't a regular carry gun. It wasn't regular. Exactly. After he was already shot and down. They shot him after he was already unarmed. After they took his gun and the guy was walking away with his gun in his hand, they killed him. They murdered him. Yeah, it was a SIG. That's right. And the optic that he had, there was expensive optics too. One of them SIG electro-optics, the enclosed joint. That leads me to believe that he wasn't just a regular gun owner. His gun was a little bit too souped up. Yeah, they took the man's life. And I hope that they don't just get to walk away with it. I hope they get to pay for it. Legally or otherwise. Because I believe in street justice too. There's still justice. It just comes from the street. Justice is justice. You know the saying, I believe this, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. But justice belongs to me. He never said that. Justice is mine. Vengeance belongs to him. But justice is my portion. That's just what I believe. You ain't got to agree, but that's what I believe. So we'll see what happens behind this. Like I said, I hope it's the straw that breaks the camel's back, man. That's what I hope it is. I don't want to see, unfortunately, we might see more people getting murdered like this. And this happening to other people. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it happen to anybody. But it may need to be a wake-up call for the dominant society. The dominant society, you may need to wake the fuck up and see what's going on. And understand that this shit affects you too. That the complexion for the protection ain't always going to protect your ass. Because it didn't protect dude today. They sent his ass off into the great beyond. And he ain't deserve that shit. He ain't deserve that. Motherfuckers took his life because they're a bunch of pussies. That's why he took his life. One dude started shooting, another guy just started shooting. Guy laying on the ground with his arms at his side. And you just keep pumping bullets in him. When first of all, there was 6 or 7 or 8 of y'all anyway. And ain't no way that this shouldn't have been that y'all couldn't subdue the guy. That's some bullshit. You jumped the gun, you ain't had no training, and you was a pussy. That's why you pulled out your gun and shot him like that. Not necessarily you just was a murderous bastard. You could be that too. But probably more so because you're a pussy. You don't know how to squabble. You ain't got no nothing. So you couldn't get the guy under control. So you decided to kill him. Even after one of your own dudes took the gun from him. So go back and watch that video, man. The guy that snatched the gun off of him, when he was walking away, I guarantee you in his head he was thinking, what the fuck? Why they shoot him? I got the gun right here in my hand. Guaranteed. He ain't gonna never say nothing about it, but that's what happened. But nah, man, we're not gonna do this for 2 hours a night. I just wanted to come on here and talk to y'all, say what I was thinking, say what I was feeling, express my thoughts. Everybody out there who's in the much respect for you speaking your mind. Appreciate you, Nikolai. Thank you. Appreciate everybody for joining me. Everybody who's in this storm that's supposed to be coming in the path, with the ice and all this. Y'all hunker down. Y'all be safe. Hope you got everything that you need. Hope everybody comes out on the other side good and it just lasts for whatever. Hope it ain't what they say. Hope it's just some snow and we don't get all that other stuff. And listen, y'all stay safe. But like my man Big Dre like to say all the time, in these times like this, it seems like we need to stay dangerous. And I don't never say that. That's not nothing that I say. It's the way that I live my life. But it's not anything that I say. But y'all stay dangerous, man. Y'all watch yourself. Especially if you got the brown complexion like myself, a little darker, y'all watch yourself, man. Because they'll come for us too. Even though we ain't got no accents or no nothing. Because it ain't about that. It's about building a white ethno state. If you don't know what that is, go do some research. So, yo, I love y'all. That's right. We 100 pounds. I might be more than, I don't know, Mr. Dixon. Well, yo, I love y'all. Y'all my people. Y'all know that. Can't wait to see y'all in June. And hey, I'll see y'all probably Wednesday again. Like I said, it was an impromptu, man. I just thought about this afternoon, man. Y'all take it easy, man. Appreciate y'all hanging around with the big man, all right? Peace, y'all. Love y'all.